Head to Knoxville, don't be late. Baker's Live, it's gonna be great. June 5th and 6th, mark your date at Dollywood, we'll celebrate. Meet Baker and more cool friends. Live show magic that never ends. Come to Dollywood, feel the vibe. With great people there, it's gonna be a ride. Rides, fun, and meet and greet. Baker and pals, the crew's so sweet. Get ready for laughs, cheers, and thrills. Knoxville's the place, it's giving chills. Meet Baker and more cool friends. Live show magic that never ends. Come to Dollywood, feel the vibe. With great people there, it's gonna be a ride. June 5th and 6th, don't miss the fun. Meet Baker and friends, it's second to none. Baker and friends, it's second to
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are, whoever you are, what, if any, you might be. And welcome to day 5 in the Todd Mullis Will He Get Another Trial? Yesterday is no... it wasn't a good day for, I don't believe, for Todd Mullis. I don't know if it's work experience for the young lawyers or whatever happened yesterday, but it was horrendous to sit through, waiting for them to finally land on some evidence. Baker was so funny on Tom's CPU stream. Why isn't he like that here? Because Jamie yells at me every time I make a joke. Maybe because I made a joke about her getting to Moist O'Clock. Thank you, Vince Clotho, for becoming a member. No, if you weren't around for the CPU and Big Mike stream, I was just hanging out with our friends over there, talking a little bit about the Karen Reed case, and I said that this Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern, we will do another panel stream. So far, we have locked in 2 guests, 2 BCs, Brother Counsel, and Brandy Churchwell. So it's the BCs who are the bee's knees, who will be joining us for a talk about everything Karen Reed. So we are still looking around. I know it's a Sunday, we're a little late, but we might get more, we might not get more. But please join us and say hello to our new friend, Brother Counsel, because I never streamed with him before. Hello again, loser. Yeah, it's always fun to hang out with Tom. How do you find CPU's channel? He has 2 channels, actually. He has the one called Tom CPU, and the other one is maybe maybe a mod can share the links. So I can't remember the Looking for Justice. Maybe is it Looking for Justice? Brandy is always wonderful to stream with, and no one has. Well, maybe Olivia has more notes and facts than Brandy, but no one else does. Brandy is also dropping a new podcast today. So, seeking justice. Seeking justice. But you've been ill, so you missed all of this morning. We just started, so you didn't miss anything. I was on another channel. That's But welcome, welcome, and I hope you feel better soon because everyone is sick right now. Oh, and by the way, I will be offering you to go to Recovery Addict for the afternoon stream today because I have a 11-year-old nephew tomorrow, and I have to get up and drive over there early in the morning, so I can't do the afternoon shift because normally we end around 11, 12 o'clock my time. So I'll only do the morning part, but I know Recovery Addict is also covering this trial, and if you like it here, you would love it there. Hey, Kiki K, happy Friday to you as well. And for those of you who have been with us in a long time, especially you, Jamie, Kara Rintala has filed a motion for appeal. So maybe we can find it and we can see if it's anything, if what her arguments are. But that's me and Jamie's first real. I think the first case where we really got angry on behalf of a defendant, because normally defendants are assholes. Most of them did it, but that was a case where we got mad together. Jamie stopped yelling at me and started yelling at the screen instead. I like that stream. Sadly, it doesn't happen that often. But we have to look into that motion for an appeal. But I found a lot of reasonable doubt, and it was probably Jamie's favorite lawyer, Rosemary Scapiccio, who, as I said on Tom and Mike's show, that if she has ties to Bev, so she can't join, but she should join the defense team, then it will be, well, not that Jamie has those, she's not playing for the Flux team, but she would be as happy as Coco when someone butt dials her husband. Congratulations, baby Ginger. Yeah, that's a weird thing when you don't have kids anymore, you have teenagers. Just wait till you have grandkids, then everything is weird again. Someone is having a good day. You should show the nephew Hell in the Cell or some other wholesome. Well, I did that with my youngest girl back when she was around the same age. We would sit on Saturdays and watch old wrestling shows. It wasn't that long she was interested in, but she really liked it for a short while. So we would watch the pay-per-views together. That was fun. A little daddy-daughter time. She really liked The Undertaker, so that's good. Yes, that was the wet paint case. The case that actually has been mentioned in the Karen Reed case as case law because it was overturned because of misuse of an expert. Like Coco. 5 grandkids, 3 boys, 2 girls, ages 14 and down to 3 years old. They are a joy, but they're also a handful. I get a lot of messages right now about. Well, she sent me one the other day where my intro was playing and he was. He likes my intro music. I don't know if he likes me talking, but he likes my intro music. Hey, Jennifer Duncan from the famous Duncan clan in Scotland. I think, aren't they the one who fights the Clan MacLeod in the first battle in the Highlander? Might be. I'm not sure. But what do we expect from this trial today? Sadly, it looks like another one. Well, she was actually quite good yesterday when she was the one pulling up all the stuff, all the evidence. So it looks like she's the one talking today. Is it an innocent project or something like that, since they are rotating the lawyers constantly? But she seemed more capable, so I hope they have sharpened up and are ready to argue today. Because yesterday it. Oh, I have to ask. Can you see Exhibit 329? Oh, we don't have that. 327. It was really annoying. And then that lady with her candy. Ugh. No, it's a rake. It's about a rake. It's a different thing. A rake is it's something you use on a farm to you can use it for hoe downs and stuff like that. See you later, Karake. I watched a few recaps of the dismissal motion. I like yours the best. A good summary and conclusion. Thank you. Well, thank you for watching it. Yes, I'm the slow down guy. I don't speculate that much. That's why I went to Tom today. Then I could just let my speculation fly. But no, I think very interesting, especially because now the state have filed their counter motion and say, well, it's bullshit. As I think I said in my video, I had a few takes because I started yelling. 15 pages, and I think they mentioned one case law. It's preposterous how little work Brennan puts into his motions. And it's preposterous that we can't get better Rowan because they didn't file an affidavit that's good enough for the Queen. But he can just file a piece of paper and say, the sky is green, and she'll rule the sky is green. I knew the Duncan clan from somewhere, but I still believe it was from the Highlander movie as well. Step grandchildren. That's down the line. No, Bev is doing fine. It is an innocent project case, yeah. It's an important case. I don't think it's. I know they're doing it for free. I know they're fighting for him, but still, I'm not impressed. I have to say that. I am really not impressed with their performance so far. The only good examination was the biomechanical engineer. The rest of them, I'm not impressed so far. Thank you, Mr. Meathook. Remember the guy that drowned his wife in a bowl of breakfast cereal? The cornflake murderer. No. I haven't heard that one.
Please be seated.
And how much will they grape our ears this morning?
All right, we'll go ahead and go on the record. Are there any preliminary matters that we need to address this morning? Anything on behalf of the applicant?
Just on the applicant's end, Your Honor, we, want to keep things moving this morning, and we can confer further with scheduling about with the court about scheduling, maybe at a break. But we do have our next witness to proceed, and I think we've conferred with the state about that. So,
okay. Any preliminary matters on behalf of the state?
No preliminary matters, I think, other than the scheduling matters that we have before the court here today, as well as the potential ongoing discussions for stipulations.
All right, wonderful. You may call your first witness.
Good morning, Your Honor. The applicant calls Mr. Blake Heeman.
Okay, Mr. Heeman, see you outside. All right, great. Good morning, sir. Come forward, please, and have a seat in the chair to my left. If you'd raise your right hand.
Did they finish the last witness yesterday? Didn't they say they had a few more questions, but they didn't want to get into it because court was about to end? I thought they still were on the lawyer and they didn't cross-examine the lawyer. She said to slap Baker with bacon or something. Well, you can slap me with something all the time. Thank you, T-Rex. No, this case has to deal with the intersection of corn, savage auger rakes, loud screaming noises, and plebeians in pantsuits. That's probably the best description of what's have happened for the first 5 days.
Swear the testimony you're about to give will be true and correct.
I do.
Okay. The microphone is on. Just adjust that as you need to so you can sit comfortably.
He was busy this morning. Thank you.
Ms. Neshwa, whenever you're ready.
Good morning.
My name is Dina Neshwat. I'm one of the attorneys for Todd Mullis. Would you please state and spell your name for the court reporter?
Yeah, Blake Heeman, Blake Hemann.
Mr. Heeman, where are you employed?
Farm Credit Services of America.
And what do you do there?
I'm currently a sales skill trainer. Previously was a crop insurance agent.
How long have you worked for Farm Credit Services?
16 years.
How long did you work?
If they have called a witness to talk about when you sow seed in Iowa, Marissa might have to come and take over this stream because I will lose my mind.
Work as insuring crops for farmers.
Approximately 13 years.
So do you have a general understanding and knowledge of like planting practices?
I do.
In your
I thought that was a real case that someone had drowned their wife in a breakfast cereal. You can do that. You can drown in a puddle of water.
Yes. Is that better? Is that better?
Yeah, it goes to that way. All the way up there. Just as close
You just said
as
you had experience with the
keyboard.
planting industry, farmers. Can you give me just a general idea of your interactions with them in your 13 years insuring crops for them?
Sure. The crop insurance process is pretty straightforward. I'd say the biggest requirement is understanding what coverage the producer wants, and then there's some key dates and times that need to be met throughout the year with that process to make sure that they're insured properly.
Do you recall what those key dates are?
There's several. So sales closing date is March 15th. There's some planting dates. So like corn to get full coverage should be planted by May 31st. Beans, I believe, is June 15th. Then there's some other reporting for production in as well. So.
And those are required dates?
Correct.
Is there a window of time planters have to have all of their information submitted?
Yeah.
It's your witness. Ask the questions.
So like acreage reporting, July 15th is the deadline to have that reported.
Who is that required by?
USDA, along with the AIPs, the crop insurance agencies.
Are you familiar with the Mullis family?
I am.
Are you familiar with their farming operations?
I am.
Who in the Mullis family are you familiar with?
All of them, the whole family. Todd, I'm familiar with. Amy, Pat, all of the whole operation. Mike, Leroy.
And Leroy is the father of the 3 males that you just mentioned?
Correct.
And you said Amy also, Amy Mullis?
Yep.
And you insured crops and farmlands for those members of the family as well in their farming operation?
Correct.
Okay. Mr. Heeman, can you explain what an acreage farm book is and its purpose?
Yeah. Do you have that example? Or
I'm going to do that in a moment, but just generally.
generally speaking, when the producer comes to us and says, I planted this crop on this day, we map that for them to get it in the system to essentially certify those dates, crop.
Or you can just go in here and get the ripening dates for fruits and vegetables. Corn in Iowa, you pick in August and September. Why are we wasting time on this?
Locations for them.
And this, is it a farm book or a frame book? Forgive me.
I know they're referred to by some maybe as a frame book. We call it an acreage report.
Okay. Is this something that's generally you prepare for each of your farmers?
Correct.
Is that annually you prepare?
Correct. Annually.
I don't think it's because it sucked. I think it's you have to be this far from your mic. And that's why Mike has to lean in.
Did you prepare an acreage farm book for Patrick Mullis?
I did.
I'm sorry, Patrick and Judy Mullis.
I did.
Do you know what information was included in that acreage book for Patrick and Judy Mullis in 2018, just generally?
Yeah, acres, type of crop planted, and the plant date, along with Pat's certification that everything was correct.
I'm going to show you, Mr. Heeman, a redacted report. It's Exhibit 378. And Your Honor, redacted is just the privacy, personal data, the phone numbers, Social Security. A 2018 acreage framework. Do you see that in front of you?
I don't.
Excuse me, the crop system's not. Yeah, where's the paper?
Again, I think it's to determine that he couldn't have done the Google searches because he was rotating his crops or something. But this team of lawyers never takes the easy route. I'm really annoyed. I know she's the mentor, mentee, mentis. But they seem so unprepared. She can't even ask questions. We have 3 questions in, and she's stumbling. I was hoping she would do better because she was really good yesterday on the technical stuff. And I know you need your repetitions in court to. It's the same like being a streamer. You need some times under your belt. But would you do it in this important a case to talk about farming? It's. Cloudy.
Can I give you my copy?
Okay.
For a moment. Can you pull up on the screen for me? Give you a moment to skim it.
Your Honor, the court previously received a copy of this on its hard drive if the court needs to see it.
I'm able to access it, thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I'm familiar with this book.
Because you created that book to put it
Correct.
together.
Yep.
What year does this acreage report cover?
This one says 2019. I'm sorry, 2018.
So just to confirm, the one in front of you covers is report
2018.
2018, is that what you said?
Correct.
Do you know when it was prepared?
Should say on here.
You can see the judge has it on.
This was done on June 12th,
And you said the information is required to be submitted by June 15th?
July 15th.
Okay.
This copy was created on June 12th. I don't know, the copy that I had seen before had a signature on it. This one does not. So there's a chance that we did it before June 12th as well.
Okay. What page? Mr. Heeman, would you turn to page 22? Do you see a signature on that page? Well, a redacted signature.
So on the actual acreage report, this would be a signature area where we would need a signature. If you're referring to the other 578s, is that
Is that
one
the
you're looking
form?
at? That's a different signature.
What page would that be on?
I don't see page numbers.
I can't give you a PDF number, so hang on one moment, please. We're going to show you,
Sure.
with the court's permission.
Certainly.
Of the electronic document.
Yeah, so that document right there is the certification from the Farm Service Agency. And so that signature would have been the date that Pat certified those acres with the FSA office or Farm Service Agency, which is separate from our acreage report.
Okay. Mr. Heeman, so again, in this report, is there mapping information in there regarding fields that
We haven't heard how big the farm was.
the farmer would own or be affiliated with in renting, for example?
I'm going to object. One, I don't know if we're admitting this exhibit. The state certainly objects to the admission of the exhibit, so right now it's assuming facts, not in evidence. I'm also going to object because it's irrelevant. It's not Mr. Mullis' farm specifically, so under those grounds, as well as 5403 prejudice, as it would be misleading.
Did you wish to respond?
Yes, Your Honor. I'm not asking for specific information. I'm asking generally, are there mapping, what is included in that report, just generally speaking, and there will be foundation in just a few more questions, and it's certainly relevant because it gives information to support that certain allegations.
If you're arguing it certainly is relevant, you don't have to stop talking right after. Never ask a Navy man if he'll have another drink because it's nobody's business how many he's already had in the first place. Correct. Because it's very important to make sure that you are well hydrated. And I won't do that because I'll stress pee any time I'm near a snake.
By the state or testimony in the underlying trial by the state is false, and we'd like to show that with this, what the court is about to see.
Well, I mean, at this point, I guess I don't have any information to tell me what these maps or this information has to do with Todd Mullis. Maybe we could lay that foundation and then move forward with the specific information about this exhibit.
And a few more questions, I think I can establish that.
Sure, why don't we
Yes.
go there and then we can come back to the exhibit?
Sure.
Okay.
Okay. The foundation.
Some of us keep the goat on just for birth.
Do you know who operated the planter for the Mullis family members' fields that you insured the crops for, from your understanding?
From conversations, I was aware.
Objection, hearsay and speculation, Your Honor.
Well,
You can answer.
Okay.
that actually is hearsay because he has no first-hand knowledge. He was told it was Todd. So that's actually correct by the state. He once punched a hole in a car to see what was coming down the road. Heck, he'll rake a priest if you dare him. This is riveting. At least Chad is good company. Yeah, it's... Thank you for 16 months, Pixie, and thank you, Brendan, for your super chat.
From conversations with the Mullises, there was an understanding that Todd operated the planting equipment on occasion.
Did you have any reason to believe that that information wasn't true?
No.
You actually insured fields for Todd and Amy Mullis in their farming operation, is that right?
Correct.
I don't like snakes. I'm very afraid of snakes. I have two irrational fears, snakes and teeth.
Do you know if Farm Credit still insures Todd and Amy Mullis's, their property that was insured in 2018? Is it
As far
still
as I'm
insured
aware,
today?
yes.
Can you say that again?
As far as I'm aware, yes.
And also Pat and Judy Mullis's property, is that?
Yeah, I'm not in that role anymore, but as far as I'm aware, yes, we do.
In 2018, have you ever met Todd and Amy Mullis before in person?
Yes, on their farm.
Do you know what year that was?
2018, around that time frame, probably more than one occasion.
Okay. Can you just, what was the situation, where did you meet them? What were they doing?
In some cases, it would have been signing acreage reporting documents or other crop insurance documents or deciding what coverage to take. In other instances, just on the farm, stopping in to say hi, see how things were going.
So you saw Amy and Todd Mullis together?
On one occasion, both of them together, yeah, that I can think of.
Okay. Do you notice anything unusual about them together, demeanors?
No.
Odd?
Baker used to have a pet cobra. He taught her how to fetch and dial a phone. Baker named that cobra Beverly. Anyways, every Sunday Baker used to put on a white tie and tails and walk Beverly through the park until Beverly bit the maid, and with teary eyes, Baker unalived the maid. Oh, Brandon isn't drunk yet, but his wife is out, and when the cat is out, the mouse will play on the table. Thank you, Brandon. And I told you that in confidence with the maid.
Or fixing a planter in front of his shop anywhere or on the farm?
On that occasion that I was just speaking of, I mean, when we stopped in, I remember the planter equipment being there. It was about this time of the year. Seems like Todd was working on the equipment again in his yard in front of his shop.
Okay. Okay, Your Honor, I'm going to go back to the showing Mr. Heeman the copy of the redacted report, if that's okay.
You can, I guess what
Very careful.
the questions are.
Mention report.
It's something.
I'm just taking a bio break. That's why I'm off screen.
He has a dance.
You have it in front of you?
The paper copy?
Mr. Heeman, this book, again, you prepare for your farmers annually, is that right?
Correct.
About how many farmers or is it farmers or producers that you call them? Either?
Yeah.
How many of those did you have at the time you were working in this capacity as a?
Objection relevance.
Overruled, you can answer.
90, I would Yes, somewhere in that ballpark?
So did you create one of these books in the ordinary course of business for your farmers?
Yes.
Your Honor, we'd offer Exhibit 373, the frame book, for Mr. Heeman, just to clarify, was this book created in the ordinary course of business as your standard practices for your farmers?
Yes.
Okay, Your Honor, the applicant would now offer Exhibit 378, sorry, into evidence.
Any objection?
Yes, Your Honor. For the same grounds, it would be misleading. It's more prejudicial than probative under 5403. This is Pat Mullis's farming record, so it's irrelevant to this proceeding, and doesn't speak to Todd Mullis's planting habits or even whether or not he was the one planting, even based on the foundational testimony of the witness here. So it is more prejudicial than probative and irrelevant to this proceeding and immaterial.
Again, I guess all I've heard to connect it to Todd Mullis is that on occasion, he operated the planter that I guess potentially planted the crops that would be referenced in this report. So I agree, it's way too tenuous at this point. It's not going to be admitted at this point. If you want to continue to lay some foundation, you certainly can.
Mr. Heeman, between the family Mullis, the Mullis family members, there was Mike, Leroy, Pat, Todd, and Amy Mullis. You insured their fields?
Correct.
From your knowledge of all of those fields that are insured, crops are insured, was it that Todd Mullis was the one that operated the planter for those fields?
The primary operator of that equipment, again, through conversations, was
Objection,
always that.
hearsay and speculative, and it's leading, Your Honor.
Overruled.
You can answer.
In those conversations, it was often talked about that Todd was the operator of the planter equipment.
Do you have any reason to believe that he was not the operator of the planter?
Objection, Your Honor. Again, we're just speaking to another farm book. It's completely irrelevant to this proceeding and speculative at this point. If you would like me to voir dire the witness and ask if he has specific knowledge about specific instances, I'm happy to do that. But it is speculative here because it's trying to say it's action in conformity with another document that hasn't been admitted.
You may voir dire the witness if you'd like.
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Heeman.
Good morning.
You mentioned previously that you insured all of the Mullis family farms. Is that fair?
Correct.
On any specific date and time, were you present when Todd Mullis was planting?
Not to my knowledge.
Can you name any specific date or time as it relates to when he would have engaged in planting on any one of the Mullis farms, specific time frames?
That I witnessed?
Yes.
No.
So is the full value of your ability to speak to whether or not he planted in his fields or in another Mullis family field based on what you've heard and what has simply been relayed to you?
That would be correct.
Your Honor, the state would object on the same grounds.
Again, 378 is not going to be admitted at this time.
One moment, Your Honor.
One time I was with Baker in the back of a pickup truck along with a live deer. Baker goes up to the deer and says, "I'm the Danish Baker, say it." Then he manipulates the deer's lip in such a way as to make it say, "Danish Bakers." It wasn't exactly like it, but it was pretty good for a deer. Your stories is way better than what we hear from the court.
Could you give me one moment, please?
Certainly.
At least the judge is trying to help them. But it's just, this is blatant hearsay. He has no first-hand knowledge of when he was planting. Oh, I normally go off camera. On YouTube, there's only one Danish baker, yes. I mean, they're not exactly mine, but they are
You say
still
you're
better.
familiar generally
They are.
with farming, planting industry. Have you ever ridden in a tractor before that's pulling a planter?
Objection, relevance.
Overruled.
Yes.
Generally speaking, do you know how fast a planter moves in the field or tractor moves in the field?
Depending on the equipment, it's probably average 5 miles an hour, I would assume would be a good estimate.
Could you Google at that time? Yes, I pass
Does the size
women
of
applying makeup on the
the planter
freeway,
impact planting time?
guys texting. There's even YouTubers who
How
film
about
while
the
they're driving their
shape of the
car,
field?
which they
Does
shouldn't
that
do.
affect planting time?
Yes, I mean, a square field that's flat is going to plant easier and faster than one that's got waterways or point rows in it.
My daughter's first word was tractor.
Do you know if do you know the size of the planter that Todd Mullis used when he planted his own fields?
No.
So you don't know if it was a 16 rows, 24 rows?
I'm not familiar with what size it was.
12 foot vendplow.
I don't mean to put you on the spot, but do you by any chance, because you're insuring the fields, know how many feet are in an acre?
I should know that.
Oops, you do?
I should know that. I'm sure I knew it at one point. So the answer would be no. Not today.
It's the information generally that is provided in the books that you created, is that reported to the FSA? Is that what it was?
This information in our books, that when we do our crop insurance reporting, our acreage reporting, we're submitting that information to the approved insurance provider, who is essentially the underlying reinsurer, so the company that's holding the insurance.
An acre is 43,560 square feet. No, see, Ralphie got it.
Without looking at the book in front of you, do you know the areas of the fields that you insured for several years for Pat and Judy Mullis?
Objection relevance.
Overruled.
I'm familiar with them, yes.
Do you know the radius between, I'm sorry, let me ask you a different question. How many fields, if you know, without looking at the book, did you insure for Pat and Judy Mullis?
Yeah, ballpark 7, I'm going to guess.
Do you know the radius between those fields?
I would say all within 20 miles of one another.
Okay. When someone is planting, do they need to refill whichever crop they're planting with certain items?
Well, he's an insurance company agent who doesn't know how many feet is in an acre. Ralphie, who is a professional ass slapper, knows it. He doesn't.
For example, fertilizer or?
Yes, they're seed, fertilizer, some chemical.
How often does a planter break down, so to speak?
According to the producers I talked to, too much. They have the wear and tear affects them. They do break down, I would say, often.
I just want to clarify one last point. You said it was 2018 that you had met Todd and Amy Mullis,
As far as I can recall, yes.
and at one point you saw them together,
Yes.
and you didn't notice anything odd or about their demeanor or relationship.
No.
Okay. Okay.
No, this is actually not important. This is to say, because he has to plant his field, he couldn't be on his iPad. But we still didn't get a time when the iPad searches was made. And again, you can't prove he wasn't in the house. You can't prove he didn't bring the... I, of course, doesn't know what type of equipment he has. Probably not the most modern stuff. But modern planters with a GPS tracker, they more or less drive themselves. That's why farming that used to be very, very labor intensive these days is more or less one-man businesses, because you can do tons of it on your own. And again, this is a man who needs to prove that his defense in the first trial was ineffective counsel, and that they chose to go with someone else did it instead of what he claimed it was an accident. I know more about the acreage, 43,560 feet, than I should know after this. I should be told how the trajectory of the prongs doesn't add up with the wounds if someone had swung it. I need to know what was in that shed that she fell off from. I need to know that she was alive when he came there and she was talking to him. I need the son to come in and say, my dad was gone for 30 seconds. I don't need to know what the Planter's Almanac says about when to put down beats. I don't know what this team of lawyers are getting at, but they're getting there very slowly. And yesterday, you could clearly tell that the lawyer was getting, not the lawyer, the judge was getting annoyed to all heck with them. I think she has been more than fair to his team, because they are clearly unprepared. They are clearly new in the business. So she's giving them a lot of slack, but in reality, they are wasting our time. If they have 40 witnesses and they are going to go through them like this, I would rather take all of my Lego, put it on on my floor, dance around on it naked, and put it on my OnlyFans. In the farm equipment, if the farm equipment is running properly without duct tape and baling wire, that would be the surprising thing. Yeah, my ex-father-in-law had a pan underneath his tractor because then he could just top up the oil with the overflow. Nothing works on a farm. Baker's poop is used as currency in Argentina. My daughter's been to Argentina. He once breastfed a flamingo back to health. How do you do that? Yeah, that's why I have to take all the bio breaks. Inflation is running amok. He hates Swedes, and it was I'm not half Swedish. You take that back. And I would never scissor kick Andrea Lansbury because I love Murder, She Wrote. Yeah, maybe they want to end by that saying, in closing, Your Honor, we are this bad. Imagine how bad his first counsel was.
I have nothing further, Your Honor.
You had
Cross-examination, Mr.
nothing.
Gruden?
Briefly, Your Honor. Good morning again, Mr. Heeman. You managed the insurance policies or services for the Mullis family for a number of years, is that fair?
Correct.
And your agency has done this since at least 2018, right?
Correct.
Up to the present?
As far as I know, correct.
And based upon your testimony, you first met Todd and Amy Mullis personally in 2018?
Objection, Your Honor, that's not what he said.
Overruled.
Is that correct?
First met them, I believe that's when I took those policies back over. Correct.
And so any paperwork that would have gone through your agency would have been signed by them on their property?
Can you clarify with any paperwork?
When you had them sign or certify the farm paperwork at issue, or that is relevant to your agency, would that typically be done on their property?
Not always.
Did you meet Todd and Amy Mullis on their land specifically, though?
It's on occasion, yes.
And on the number of occasions that you interacted with them, it would have been on their land?
Generally, I would say probably more often than in the office, if that's what you're asking.
And today, you can't say whether or not Todd Mullis engaged in any planting for a family member, can you? On a specific date in time?
Not that I witnessed. personally.
He makes brooms somewhere in Georgia.
Were you asked to sign an affidavit in this case?
I actually had a
Yes.
job.
Did you sign an
making
affidavit in
broom
this
heads
case?
once.
I did not,
Why not?
because the affidavit asked the same question you just asked me, to essentially say that I saw or knew of Todd planting every acre on a specific date.
And you couldn't do that, could you?
I can't.
To the present, does your agency still manage the farm insurance policies for the Todd and Amy Mullis land?
As far as I know, yes.
And as far as you know, that land still is placed
good show.
within the Todd and Amy Mullis Living Revocable Trust or within their names, correct?
Objection, Your Honor. How would he have that information?
I watched it with my grandma.
Overruled, the witness can answer if he knows.
I don't know the answer to that. Of what is
Thank you for
insured
16
under or
months, but
who.
you are way off. The original counsel was pretty bad on the stand yesterday. He was, but it was nowhere near ineffective counsel. That's the big problem. They have to show that it was ineffective counsel, and as long as he put on a defense, that bar has been raised. And he did an opening statement, and he asked some cross, and he put his guy on the stand. That's enough. They need to come up with something new that should give him another trial, and it's not the Farmer's Almanac.
So from what I've gathered from your testimony, you knew or believed that Todd Mullis would on occasion assist with planting in his family's fields. Is that correct?
Objection, Your Honor. He didn't say on occasion.
Well, the first time he did use the word on occasion, so the objection's going to be overruled. The witness can answer.
And I can clarify that. So I should clarify, as far as I knew and was told, Todd did the planting of all crops for the Mullises in the past and up to that point.
But that was all based on what you heard from other people, wasn't it?
My conversations with the Mullises.
So it was self-reported.
Correct.
And to date, you've never witnessed that, right?
I cannot recall a time when I witnessed Todd in the planter tractor on a specific field, no.
And even the information that's included as to what date it's planted, planting occurred in any specific year or time frame is self-reported. Is that fair?
It is.
So you aren't cross-verifying that information, right?
Correct, no.
Nor are you certifying that information yourself, right?
We take producers' word for it. They're certifying that that's accurate. Yeah.
I don't have anything else, Your Honor.
Can you redirect?
Yes, Your Honor, just a couple, please. Mr. Heeman, if you were to look at Pat Mullis's acreage book, would you be able to determine the fields that were planted in 2018?
Yes.
Objection, Your Honor. Again, we're referring to facts potentially not in evidence, and that has already been deemed or excluded by the court.
Objection's overruled. The answer will remain in the record.
The information about Todd Mullis planting for the rest of his siblings and the Mullis family members' planting operations, did you have any reason to believe that that information was untrue?
No.
The farmers or producers, you said you take their word for it.
Objection leading.
He just said that.
Well, is there a
I'll
question?
withdraw, Your Honor. The information that they're providing to you is to get insurance on their crops. Is that correct?
Correct.
Would you say that planting and crops and the yield return
Did I ever tell you about the time Baker took me out to get drinks? We go off looking for a bar and we can't find one. Finally, Baker pulls into a vacant lot and says, "Here we are." I thought that was when we had our magical night in the back seat.
are their livelihood?
It's specific to crop insurance. It's the way they manage risk to ensure they can continue to run their operation.
So they would have every reason to report it accurately. Do you
Objection.
agree?
That's a credibility call and leading, Your Honor.
It is leading, sustained.
Mr. Heeman, I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Any requests?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Heeman. You may step down.
Read this here.
Sure. Further evidence on behalf of the applicant.
Your Honor, I think it might make sense for the parties to confer with the court briefly about scheduling from here.
Okay, let's go ahead. We'll go off the record, take a short break.
So, we did 45 minutes, and we already need a short break because Jeepers creepers. Interesting part about yesterday was that his previous counsel seemed to possibly be missing evidence or didn't have information that they now have. They need to emphasize those. Yes. And they didn't. That's hopefully they'll do when he comes back later. No, you can't send that because, again, what happened in the backseat of that car was beautiful, but wrong. You told me you loved me, and I let my guard down. And then you ghosted me after. I sent you tons of text with, well, no replies. Once bitten, twice shy. You took my vacate and it hurt my eye. Now you tell me you lost my number. I'm just a fool from Denmark who succumbed. Backseat is where we had our fun. But you kept plowing and I was done. You're such a meanie, but you don't care. You said get your ace back to Denmark. You're just a hoe. What? Sorry. Nope. They were just asking him if he did a bad job. He date raped David Bowie. Apparently in the 70s he was after everything with a pulse. Never been a big fan of his music. I am. Love hurts. That's the wrong color. If it hurts your eye, you did it wrong. Well, or maybe you're not adventurous enough. If you drop a phonograph needle on Brasky's nips, it'll play the Beach Boys' Pet Sound. Who's Brasky?
All right, we'll go back on the record here just briefly for the purpose of confirming our off-the-record conversation. We've actually been doing remarkably well, I would say, in terms of witness availability. But it's my understanding that at this point, we do have at least a couple of hours before our next witness is available, and we'll be waiting until 1 before the applicant's next witness. Is that correct, counsel?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, and at that point, we'll pick back up with the rest of Mr. Firehelm's testimony, and he will actually be appearing by Zoom. Is that the plan?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. We'll plan on that then. Counsel, I know we have a few things that we can take care of, and you will be working on some other details as well off the record, but we'll plan on resuming in the courtroom on the record at 1 p.m. Anything else then that we need to address by way of housekeeping matters? Anything on behalf of the applicant?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, anything on behalf of the state?
No, Your Honor.
All right, I'll be back in chambers then at whatever point you'd like to address the details that we need to take care of. Thank you. Court's in recess till 1.
What the heck? He gave a hand job to a manta ray. Right now, I would almost do the Steve Irving because of this trial. Well, as I stated earlier, I'm not doing the afternoon because I have to get up early in the morning, go to a birthday. But this feels kind of like coitus interruptus, which is never a nice feeling. So, I got the motion to dismiss answer from the Commonwealth. I've only skimmed it. We can read that together. Jamie, remember when you said, oh, this looks interesting? Farrell, remember when you said, oh, this is very interesting. I've been following this case for a long time. Some of these Lady O's, Daddy-O at Dringo. Dringo, do Dringo, oh Dringo, oh Dringo, oh. I'm gonna end this stream, kick you all over to another stream, and I'm gonna pull up the of course, but still, I have to prove it. Can someone clarify whether Brandon is the woman or the dog in the profile picture? Well, I can't see profile pictures. They're too small. This is stupid. Yeah, I have to go find the motion to dismiss. Let's read it. I bet you it's filled with all the case law, all the examples that we need, and absolutely not written like it's written by a 15-year-old who is angry that they had extra homework. Well, Baker shows up at my daughter's wedding, and you know he's a big fella. He stands right between me and my daughter at the ceremony. Yeah. When you get married to a young lady, you stand next to her. Long story short, the priest accidentally marries me and Baker. We spent the weekend in the Poconos. He loved me like I've never been loved before. Where's the Poconos? I would love to go. Double BB. That's only one double B. Your last two questions. West of you, north of Marissa, Pennsylvania. Oh. Last two questions. It's probably easier if you wrote them again. Why whisper everything? It's because she's, I think she's mentoring these young ladies. It's probably their first trial. So she is telling them what to ask because none of these ladies seems like they have ever asked a question in a courtroom before. They seem highly unprepared. And she's not the smart one. She's the one who is mentoring the other ones, is my guess. I'm going to end this. We're going to do the other thing. Wasn't that in Washington? Oh. And is it right with what we can see in some movies at some of the cheaper motels you can have a quarter and then the bed vibrates? I've never seen that in Denmark. You've been skiing in the Poconos. Hey, Kelly. It's also where they have vibrating. Oh, so Marissa knows all about and Brian Koberger was arrested there. Well, he was probably not on a vibrating bed. Well, if he was there alone, which is a little sad. But if you're ever in Knoxville, I can tell you, because we drove past that sign a lot of times, fleshlights are always 50% off at a certain store, not far from the expert's house. We had a martini-shaped 2-story hot tub in one. I pulled dips on being on the top one if anyone pees in the hot tub. Don't pee in the hot tub. I'm just saying, a snake could come by and stress pee could happen. And Brandon, stay away from hedonism too. You know what happens. I'm going to end this before I get into too much stupidity. And then I'm going to pull it up and I'll be right back on the other stream. Jamaica, Bahamas, oh, I wanna llama.
What exhibit are you referring to? I'm going to make this 100, Your Honor. All right. 100.
100.
Because it is 100%
100%.
correct.
So you literally built a cannon?
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
All right, I'm in love.
Go back. Please do that again. Oh, that was the cutest thing I've ever seen.
While I'm waiting for this, did you, whether it's true or not, believe that Mr. Randolph had slept with your wife?
I wouldn't have cared.
You wouldn't have cared?
No.
Did you believe he had slept with your wife?
No.
Did you believe he slept with your mother-in-law?
Probably did. Everybody has.
So there-
Everybody has.